Right, so Sean, first of all, aside from your own back, how's the injury situation?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good in the sense. So Corky's had a minor operation, but we're pleased with that. It's gone well. Pretty straightforward in the end, so that's the good news. Obviously, that will keep him out for the rest of this game schedule. We're hopeful that he'll be back into it for next season. We don't know when that is yet, but hopefully that'll be fine. Ben Mee won't recover. I'm almost sure he won't recover for the last games now. Obviously, with such a short window to go. Woody come through unscathed the other day, which is good. So did Johan, which is good. Robbie's obviously fit and available, but needs time. So we'll try and get him some minutes as well. Louts is unlikely still to finish this season with us, but he's making progress. Barnes is making progress as well. I think that's everyone. So yeah, some good news with Corky and the other lads settling down nicely, but unlikely them four mentioned complete the season, I think.
Even so, I mean, with the players that you have got and the players that have stepped in, that have been on the fringes previously, we've talked about it many a time, haven't we? But the spirit that those players have showed, particularly when you saw that performance at Anfield, has been absolutely incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think all the performances have been decent. You know, I did say after the Man City game, they just punish you. You know, they're a top side and they do punish you. We couldn't come away with anything. We did on Saturday against a top-class Liverpool side. But no, massive credit to the players. You know, they've seen beyond the injuries, they've seen beyond the challenges and just gone on with it. And, you know, that's a great mentality to have because we have had some really tough games against some good sides and none better than Liverpool, obviously, as it's proven this season.
Nick Pope obviously got most of the plaudits from particularly Jurgen Klopp for his performance.
There's no other player out there for that. He must have done that last 20 minutes.
It was a terrific performance from him, though, to be fair, wasn't it?
All right, it's a joke. Relax.
In terms of what he can achieve, I mean, there's people talking about maybe he should be the regular England number one now. I mean, obviously that's not your decision, but do you feel he's at the level now where he's performing consistently enough to certainly be considered as that possibility?
No, I've always said that I've never got in the way of Gareth's choosing the side. I get on well with Gareth when I speak to him. Would I offer the obvious that he's playing very well? Yes. I think James Tarkowski as well played very well. Amongst the Dwighty, you know, Dwighty's getting towards a full season in the Premier League, 20 years old after playing half a season last season, hardly missed a minute, to be fair to the lad. So, you know, there's certainly three in amongst I'd certainly offer are playing well enough to be considered. And obviously Pope's got some accolades, rightly so. He's a number of performances actually. Some by just doing the basics very well, which he did against Sheffield United, coming for crosses and dealing with that side of it. And then some making really big saves like he did on Saturday. So, you know, we know he's a good goalkeeper. We know he's still improving, as are many players here. But he's doing a good job.
3 goals in 4 games now for Jay Rodriguez, who, after a bit of a slow start from his return originally, has really got the bit between his teeth now, hasn't he? And when you look forward to next season, at the strikers that you've got, the competition that you're going to have there must have you getting really excited.
Well, when we brought him in, I said to him, I think our environment would sharpen him again. Not that he was going along nicely, obviously, but I just felt that getting back in the Premier League and with us and the way that we work would bring back that edge to his game. I wanted to play him a lot more down the middle rather than because he does a good job coming off the wide. He's done a couple of cameo appearances for us doing that, but I think I like him down the middle. I think he's reminding himself of the job down the middle because he has played so much sort of coming off the wide of a 3. And he's doing a good job. I think he's enjoying his football, which is always a good sign. And I think, as you rightly said, when Barnsley gets fit, I think there's a clutch of good strikers there, particularly, you know, with all due respect for the market that we're in, I think we've got together 4 really good strikers.
Wolves this time around, I'm sure you probably saw their performance against Everton at the weekend. They look like they've got their mojo back.
I think they're a good side anyway. I mean, look, they went into Europa, they've had a tough start to the season. They came out of it quicker than we did. We had a tough start and found it tricky until the kind of turn. They came out of that tough start quicker. I like what they do. I like the side. I think they've got a good mixture in the squad that they've got. Ironically, a manager that doesn't make many changes, doesn't seem to get questioned for it, but sticks with his team, which I like. I do that a lot myself. Nothing but positives for me for what they try and achieve and how they go about it.
A couple of big issues knocking around at the moment. Obviously, Manchester City's FIFA Fair Play Award, financial fair play court ruling. Obviously, if clubs like that have that sort of money and FFP is maybe being called into question here, where does this leave clubs like Burnley with much smaller budgets, do you think?
Well, I don't think it changes radically. I think we'll always be punching somewhat above our weight. There's a clutch of clubs similar-ish in the Premier League who are not going out there spending vast amounts of money, but we think we develop well. I think they're two different animals, quite obviously. So I don't think I'm going to get involved in who's got what. We just manage what we have got rather than worrying too much about what we haven't got, and try and create a team and a way of working that's effective enough to take points and win games. That's what it is, as simple as that. But the ruling is nothing to do with me. I don't know the ins and outs of it. All I know is that there's one less place available.
And just finally, plans in place looking at the possibility of getting fans back into stadia for next season. Presumably you'd be happy to see fans, particularly at Turf Moor, getting back in as soon as they can to help recreate that atmosphere and push the team on.
Yeah, I think so long as it's safe, which I think that we generally seem to, certainly the Premier League, I think are doing a really good job. All of our staff and players are adhering to, the rules the best we can, and I think we're doing well with that. Hopefully, the world keeps calming down, including our country, of course, and therefore fans can come back in stadiums in a safe manner. And I think that would be a good thing for the game. I think it may be phased in, we don't know yet, but I think it will be good if we can get fans in. I must say, I think everyone involved, whether it be on the pitch, the people around the pitch, the grounds, the stadiums, the people involved in the safety, the media as well. I think everyone's bought into the way that the season's restarted. I must say, I think it's been delivered very well, in my opinion, from all parties. Some of the games I've seen, the tempo's been good, the reality of it, the fervour to a game has been there. And the next thing is to try and get the fans in a safe manner. And I think that would, obviously have a massive benefit to allow the fans to come back into the stadiums.
It's good for me. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fraser. Mandy?
Sean, how much of a challenge has it been to kind of get that tempo in games when you don't have the atmosphere and you don't have the fans in the stadium?
Well, I've been pleasantly surprised. I think it's happened quite naturally. I think for us it was a shot of the blue going straight into the Man City game. They certainly provided a good tempo on that night, and we had to run our socks off to try and get anything near the game. But coming out of lockdown, that was a difficult one. But since then, I think our tempo's been good. I think the games have been good. Statistically, considering the amount of games, they've been good as regards the literal stats that we have. And we've delivered that very well. I always say that regardless of results, I think physically we finish season strong. Statistically, that's true as well with our stats. I've been here nearly pushing 8 years, so I know our stats. And then going on to others, I just think I've watched a number of games where the tempo's been excellent. And the feel of the game, it's a couple have started slow, but they've soon built a tempo and they've soon built that kind of feel even through a screen, which I think has been good for the fans. I hope the fans have enjoyed it. I certainly have. I've watched more football than I've probably ever watched, in such a short space of time, and I've enjoyed most of it.
I remember when you played Wolves back in August, the images at the end of the game of the players looking absolutely gutted after that equaliser with almost the last kick of the game. How much did you think the players learnt from that day, and how much do you think you've improved since then?
We were really good actually on the day, and Wolves were maybe just a bit off. They'd had a lot on their plate at that time, and I thought we were very good and probably worthy of the 3 points. A bit of a soft decision went against us, but I think the mentality was good. And other than a spell, kind of mid-season where we only had a little drop-off, I did say at the time, we lost 4, but I said, that we're not a million miles away from the performances that can win games. And I think other than that little spell, I think we've shown a reasonable level of consistency over the season. And, to be on 50 points with these games left is very pleasing, I think, for the players as well as myself, because I think the players have earned the right. I think Wolves are a good side. By no means is it an easy game, we know that. They're still pushing and they're delivering performances. So we know we're going to have to deliver again. And coming off the back of the Liverpool game, there's a good energy about the group. There's a good feel in the group. But Wolves are a good side. So we know we're going to have to be absolutely ready to go and, perform to try and get what we want.
How impressed have you been with the job that the manager's done there?
Yeah, I think like a number of managers, I have massive respect for all the managers. At any level of football, I speak to a number. It's a very tough job. But I think he's built a way of working there. They've stuck to their guns. Like I said, he doesn't make many changes. He sticks with the team that he thinks is right. They've brought in a lot of good players there. When they have invested, they've invested well. and they seem to have a good way of working, and it's operating really well for them. So, like I say, a lot of positives, I think, to what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve, and the manner they go about it. I mean, he is a manager. They will mix their play. They pass if they can, but they'll play long when they have to. And, I don't think he's precious about that. I think he plays his version of being effective to try and win games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mandy. Move on to some radios now. Jed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Can I just go back to the injuries? Just give us a quick update, Sean, on the injuries at the moment at Burnley.
Yeah, so Woody's got through the 60 minutes the other day, and half an hour before that has been pleasing. So he's looking promising now. Johan got through a bit the other day, about half an hour, so that's looking promising. Robbie hasn't been tried and tested, but he's getting better. The main one's Matt Loughton won't finish the season. Corky won't finish the season. He's had a minor operation. That's gone very well. Barnsley won't finish the season, obviously, too short a window now. And Ben Mee won't finish the season now. So, that's a bit of a shame. But I think the pleasing side of that is that gives them every chance of being fit for the next season. Now, we don't know when the next season is yet, but I think, the dates that are being thrown around, the suggestions, mean they've got a very strong chance of being right and proper for next pre-season.
Yeah, and with a quick turnaround, it looks as though it's going to happen that way. How pleased are you with the form of not just your players, but especially the strikers you've got at the club at the moment?
Yeah, I think that they've had to fight and earn their chance to find moments in games. There've been some really tight games and tough games, but I think they continue to work hard for the team. And I think we ask a lot of them defensively as well. We want them to work from the front for the team. And then when we get the ball, we want them to regain their positions on the pitch to be effective in striking as well and scoring goals. And I think they've done that well. I think they continue to find the balance. And I think the main thing, even without Barnsley, who's been a kind of a talisman for us for a number of years, I think you can see the other three are very active. They all want to play, and they've all got different ways of operating that can be effective.
Is that the hardest place to strengthen in the transfer market, given the kind of money you'd have to spend in this day and age in the Premier League up front?
I think everywhere is now. You look across the border, when you're talking about centre-halves moving for 50, 60, 70, 80 million, midfield players as well, and then strikers. I mean, I think every position on the pitch has become so important. I always say I think strikers, it's the hardest role on the pitch. I think that's why they're often the most talked about players and the most expensive players, because to find effective strikers in the Premier League is difficult. And it is usually, unless you develop one, of course, it's a very expensive business to find players who can deal with the Premier League and score goals.
What do you like in a striker, Sean?
The one that puts it in the net a lot. My favourite thing of all. I think of my favourite.
Are you disappointed that this season is, there's only a few games left of this kind of mini season, and the sort of form you've been on, are you a bit disappointed that it is coming to an end a bit?
No, definitely not disappointed. I think it's been really good. I think the way everyone's gone about it, I think we're stretched to the limit. We need a period for them players to get fit. So I think it's probably good timing. We're maxing out these players. They've been absolutely amazing with their energy levels and what they're giving each other, the club, the shirt, if you like. But I think the end, when it comes, will be appropriate because we can't keep getting the injuries we've had. And it has affected the group and stretched it to the limit.
With the ruling on Manchester City in the week, that potentially with the Europa League place, that does go now back up to sort of 7th. Do you have any effect on you at all? Or
No, I think we've gone about our business in the right manner. We generally do. I think we're asking a lot of the players. I think, as we always say, the next game's the most important one. We've stuck to that for a long time. It served us well, and we continue to do that.
What about Wolves and your opposite number? What do you make of Nuno and the job he's done there?
I think he's done terrific. I like what they're about. I like the team. I like, I was saying, previously, I don't think he's precious about their style. I think if they have to play long, they will do. If they have to play short, they can do. They want to be effective. They've stuck to their operation and the way they go about it tactically. And he sticks to the same players a lot as well. And I think he's found a way of working and a group of players who believe in the way of working, and they've been very effective with it. And I think they're a good side and a good outfit.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you very much.
Thank you.